Hey guys, Joe here with ECRM at our convenience program in Las Vegas, and I'm here with Steve from Associated Grocers of New England. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
So, Steve moderated one of the Thought Interaction Pod roundtables, and the topic was on healthy foods in the convenience channel. So, before we get into the discussion, can you give us a little background on AGNE and your role in the convenience channel?
Sure. We're a wholesaler. We're out of Pembroke, New Hampshire, Associated Grocers of New England. We service a little over 600 stores in New England. Probably about half of them are convenience stores. The other half are supermarkets and markets and that sort. So we service multiple channels in that way, which has a lot of advantages for all the customers we service in many ways.
Definitely, definitely. So the table that you moderated, what was the overall takeaway, the overall feeling as it pertains to healthy foods and convenience?
Well, one of the things we were exploring is one of the newer terminologies in convenience is better for you foods. And it's trying to ensure that customers understand that there are better for you food options available in convenience that maybe weren't available years ago. So we talked about what's going on with that trend and how do we capitalize on that trend and what some of the challenges are in doing that. And we talked about some of the experience that we at AG have had with that and how we have been introducing that to many of our supermarkets already had that, and we were trying to find a way to make it relevant for our convenience stores.
Okay.
So in working with some of our suppliers, we've come up with a variety of items that we call better for you items. Now you could probably ask 10 people what better for you means.
Well, I was just going to ask you that.
And you could get a number of different answers on that.
What's your definition of better for you?
It's basically, foods that are more tending towards the natural, organic. Sometimes it might be gluten-free, maybe less sugars in it. So just basically a healthier end product. And it goes across a number of different categories. It could be, within the beverage category. It could be within the trail mix category, the salty snacks, or it kind of goes across all categories. And one of the challenges that we talked about is if you're in a store that isn't necessarily known for that, how do you introduce that to a store and get the consumers to understand what you're trying to convey to them? And so we've come up with a couple of different options, and one of them is to put a what we would call a better for you end cap on one of the ends of the gondola, so when the customers come in, that is right there with them, and they get a good understanding of some of the different products that we have across all those different categories that could be perceived as better for you.
So that's kind of similar to what the grocery industry did when organic first started coming out. You put them all together, and then eventually you kind of work them into the categories.
Right, and what we're doing is we're putting together the 3-foot end cap that I talked to you about, but we're also giving them about 150 to 200 additional items that they might want to consider bringing into their stores where they could merchandise it within their existing categories. So for example, if a convenience store had a 8-foot salty snack section, there may be 2 vertical feet of that set out for the better for you product.
Okay.
And then it's defining what kind of POP or merchandising do you use to bring the customer in so that their eyes are targeted towards that specific section. And what we have found is, you might have a family, mother, father, and a couple of children come in, and you may find, one member of the family is going to, buy something that may not be considered a better for you product. The wife might come in and say, you know what, I really like this because I think this is a cleaner product, I'd like that. And then the kids could go either way depending on the way the parents are.
Yep, so this way you had something for everybody, but you're still getting that message out that for those of you who want a healthy option, come to us.
Right, and it's a niche. Now, obviously, there's a lot in convenience stores. This is just one additional niche that is definitely growing, and we've put it in stores that we question whether it would make sense based on the demographics and things of those stores, and what we found out that it does work. Maybe you don't need 80 items, maybe you only need 25 items. But it's definitely a growing trend, and it also plays a lot upon the idea of using a lot more regional and local type items, because a lot of times that's where those products come from. They come from newer companies.
Okay, so among the participants on the table, it sounds like the gist of it was, it's really important, one, to have a place for those types of foods, but also to really communicate that you have them.
Correct.
Did you see that among all of them?
Absolutely, that was one of the key things, and that was one of the things that came up the most in the roundtables is, well, how do you merchandise that? How do you get that into your store? And the ways I just described are two of the ways that definitely seem to work. It's a growing trend, and it's one that I don't think is going to go away. And whether you're talking about, millennials or boomers, no matter what profile you're looking at, that is a growing category.
Yeah, they're growing up healthier. What I've been seeing is, you have the millennials, and the Gen Zers, they're growing up healthier, they're growing up working out and eating healthier, and they're influencing the older people. So, thanks again, thanks for, coming, and thanks again for the information.
Appreciate it. Thank you.